Good day, ladies and gents, my name is Raging Raptor and I welcome you to a new SuperTest preview. Because today we are going to look at the Reworked Erlenberg. Before we do that though, a quick little recap so you know how the map is roughly being played. Okay, this is from August 23, but let's be honest, the map didn't have any changes. So, yeah. The interesting part is you can see that TDs and heavy tanks tend to play mostly in the middle, while these are medium and light tank stuffs, and there's not really much happening around here, and we just know that these sections up here and here are mainly camp fests. So, that is where Wargaming basically made changes. They kept these spots more or less the same, but they completely reworked this part of the map and this part of the map. Wowzers. And there are a lot of changes, so let's just dive in the rework of Erlenberg, or Erlenberg if you want to use the German pronunciation. The first big change which happened is the castle had a renaissance. It got quite a lot bigger. And it also resulted in a lot of the wood being used for new furniture and I guess building materials. But you can see this is a completely different battlefield, basically. And I also don't want to show you don't dwell too long on this position, because let's be honest, it's so completely different, it is very, very, very hard to predict what is going to happen. So I already take a little bit from the conclusion. This has to be play tested. You can't predict how this is going to behave. It's the same with Airfield, which had a massive rework. And this one is basically 2/3 of that massive rework as well. Yes, it's not the whole map, but 2/3 of the map became completely different. And we will most likely here have a little bit of a mines situation without it being too much of a mines situation. Because both teams you saw before can easily drive into the castle region. I quickly go back again here. You can see they can drive in here without any trouble. You can even see that there are side scraping hold down positions over there. So you can do things fairly easily. The same goes here. You have a little bit of hold down here, a little bit of hold down here, some side scraping here. So this will work out quite interestingly. But you can also drive in here and you have an additional more aggressive and more central location. But this one is going to be very, how should we say it, dangerous, because it's a choke point. That is why I said with the mine situation, because going in here, that's not really mines-ish, but going in here, that is mines. I will be also interesting to see if this you can drive up or only down, because that might be an interesting position to take as well. I hope it can do both, because that will make this position more interesting. And here we have a top side down view, and you can see, again, over here, not much changes. But here, look at this. That will be interesting. It will be a very, very interesting section to play. However, what I'm not really happy about is the changes around here, because chances are you cannot use this anymore as a flanking route. Because this time, right now, you can still go yoink, womp, and here you can bodonk, probably drown, and then can't get out anymore. Because when we look over here, the old version, you can see that there are a lot of cliffs. I'm not that happy about that. But you can see, again, loads of trees have fallen, meaning it is easier for you to push in and to kill these TDs. This is what I mean. You can see here it's very flat. You can drive out here, out of the water. Now we have a cliffside. Not entirely sure if this is a great position or a great thing to do. But, again, look at this. Is that climate change? That looks like climate change. And industrialization, because look, up here also a new house became. Look, the main problem I'm having with these changes to these sniping positions or camping positions is these positions tend to elongate the map time quite a bit. And it gives light tanks more urgency. Because if a light tank plays this well, you can get loads of spot damage. However, I understand that these positions are monstrously frustrating to play. Because look at it. everybody can camp in here and you have like one scout here and you can't push in. On the other hand, you can push in here and slowly spot these people, but you have to get there first. So yeah, there's a pros and cons. My main problem is these positions where they removed loads of trees, they tended to be slow-paced positions. And we have a problem of the maps being too fast. So removing camping positions is a really good idea. On the other side of the medal, that is absolutely a good idea because too many people are playing tank destroyers right now, so pushing into anywhere is incredibly frustrating. And this is probably why Wargaming also completely reworked this position. You notice, camp up here, have a scout here or here or here to try to spot this. It's gone. It's gone. It's completely gone. Yes, we still have some bushes here and here, but yeah. Scout tanks here are not going to be important anymore. Look at this. These camping positions up here vanished. You have to play aggressive now. So, sniper tanks, they're going to have it very rough in Erlenberg. But on the other hand, brawling medium tanks will have a boatload of fun over here. So, yeah. This is just a completely shift of attitude to the map, you know? The sniper tanks will have it much harder with the new one, at least that's what I predict, than brawling tanks. It does look cool, it does look more engaging, but it also kind of fosters a more heavy tank-ish based meta. And again, you know me. Don't get me wrong. I like playing tank destroyers, I like to play them aggressively, I like to be active with them. I also like to play light tanks and medium tanks. I'm not the biggest heavy tank fan. I am a child which has been beaten by the heavy tank meta enforced to us by Murasor. You know, the Type 5, Super Kong, Chieftain, Object 268 version 4 meta. And I still have PTSD from it. So every single time I see changes which promote more aggressive gameplay, especially for heavy tanks and heavy medium tanks, I'm always very concerned. So please understand why I might be a little bit adverse or skeptical of the changes. Overall though, it looks very interesting. And it is very hard to predict how this is going to play out. Because obviously there will be a meta forming. And people need to adapt. What I really like though is this position over here. Look at this. Now you can fairly easily drive up here. There are even routes, and then you can use this position to snipe about these people over there, so you have a little bit of counterplay, because currently loads of people camp here or here and shoot pang, 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 you know. So now you can have this position to counter it. It will obviously make it harder for light tanks, because you can see back here, not much left anymore. Also the windmill did a little bit of a moving around, so that is very interesting. Yeah, this is the big one. I recently played quite a bit of even 90 because I kind of want to remark this thing. I'm like at 91%, and yeah, when we go back, I basically position myself here. Open field, because I didn't want it to be too obvious to be in a bush, because the enemy, even 90, already played the other side and died, and then I was able to play here, so I was able to very actively spot these people when they made mistakes. This is not going to happen anymore. Because look at this, where is a TT supposed to snipe? Because not only do we have really tiny bushes over here, we barely have any trees anymore. And not even any hard cover anymore. I don't know. It fosters active gameplay, don't get me wrong, but it might also make the games even quicker, because if one flank is crumbling, immediately everybody is going to push in. The problem with Erlenberg is that it is a very campy and long-ish map. And yes, usually if you have to defend from back here against people advancing, you usually lost anyway. So you're just artificially padding the time of the map. But this, if like one flank falls, they can immediately and flank, you know. Not sure. I'm a little bit skeptical. Also here we have some changes. It's interesting though, they moved these bushes or trees forward. Arty will have it harder to camp here, but you have this position here to maybe defend some things. And again, here you can see the complete shift of attitude, how the map changed from this one hill over here and this hill over here to have this an elongated hill with even a potential to push somebody down. Oh my god, let's make a bet. In the trailer of this map, when this update comes, they will push somebody over this edge. 100%. That's like a perfect video to do it. So yeah. We still have some more changes around here, which is interesting. Obviously for the heavy NTDs which are camping or playing in here, nothing really changes, but one position which is really interesting is this one right here, because they opened this part up. You can see back in the days it was just, yeah, a little cave, and they changed it up to be much more open. And we have this one right here. It gives us a lot more space, but we also have a bush. I'm not sure if this position right here is a little bit too strong. Also space walls up here. And this one right here, we have a little bit of a counter for the people which are playing in the top. We have this bush line over here and a little bit of hard cover, which is fairly interesting. But yeah, a few more changes to the bases. You can see that they removed the trees and they removed the house and they shuffled some more houses around, but not really much else to say. This one right here is also interesting. They removed quite a bit of trees around here, which is fairly interesting, making it easier to push in. But importantly, they didn't change this position around here, which is fairly interesting. So once again, because this is a type of airfield situation, I'm a little bit skeptical with this one, because the map does play okay. It is campy, don't get me wrong, but it's not as bad as an airfield. So this is why I'm a little bit more Nevertheless, when we compare it to what we have currently, you can see that Wargaming pushes these fighting spots quite a bit up. They push it basically over here, making these positions back here or back here not valid anymore. While these positions right here have become also pushed up to right around here when we look at this. So I feel like there is a little bit of an imbalance, because currently the map is a little bit balanced like this, you know, a slight diagonal. I'm not sure if this is now going to be something like this. So this position or this team, the northern team, is going to be in a bit of a predicament. Who knows? In general though, I'm open for it, but Wargaming has to test it, and we have to be open for these changes, because if you're not open for these changes, then what's the point? What is the point of changing a map? Is this going to make the map better? Potentially. I'm not entirely sure, but potentially it's going to be better. In any case, let me know in the comment section below what you think. Don't forget to subscribe to be always up to date with World of Tanks information. I'll gladly take your feedback for changes to the video. My name is Raging Raptor, and have a wonderful day. Cheers, guys.